Welcome to Viral Stream TV, the chat room. Today, my guest is Mr. Robert Ray. Born in Meridian, Mississippi, he is an author, counselor, and therapist for over 41 years. He's here today to speak about his run for governor, the great state of Mississippi, and what the future holds for him. Thank you so much for being here today, Mr. Ray.
Well, thank you for offering me a chance to come on and get my views out there again to the people. I know I'm gonna get a lot of people into their feelings because I tell the genuine truth about things, and I don't pull any punches because I don't have the time to do that.
Right.
Or the energy. So I have to go with what I know, and that's where this interview will be going.
And that's what we want. We want you to tell your truth. Don't be apologetic for it, and speak from your heart.
Well, the reason I ran for governor is that a guy from over in Memphis, Tennessee, who ran Operation Help over there, which is a advocate group that helped people in Mississippi, and he was doing most of his work in Mississippi. So he heard about me, so he asked me would I help him go around and talk to the people and get them interested in doing some things for Mississippi. And so we went around and we got a lot of rejection, negative stuff from people in Mississippi, which I wasn't surprised because you just can't get black people to do anything in Mississippi but club and drink and stuff like that. So we was talking one day, I said, you know, the only way I could get anything done for Mississippi if I was the governor myself. So we chuckled about it. He said, right, let's do that. Run for governor. I said, I don't even know anything about running for governor in Mississippi. He said, well, I'll tell you what you need to do. And he claimed he had some people that was behind him that he could get behind me. So he got me interested. So I started slowly but surely getting my mindset to run for governor and getting everything in place to do it. And it went from there. But when it come time to run for governor, I couldn't find him. He wouldn't answer his phone, nothing.
Left you out there by yourself.
Left out there by myself. So that's where I went. So I went out there by myself. I had me and only the process. And I ran on the process because I know the process is the most solid thing probably on the face of the planet now. I wasn't in any delusion that I was going to win, but I wanted to get the people to know that there was a process that I had that could fix all the problems in Mississippi. And that was my platform. That's what I went out and told them. As
you were running, did this experience shape your views any differently than before? What was it like as a nominee?
I really enjoyed it because I got a chance to go all over Mississippi, to see the land and terrain and meet the people in these different areas down there and come to the conclusion that they were all oppressed people and they couldn't do anything about it because the white people here in Mississippi have everything going their way. They have all of the money, they have all of the power and everything, and they couldn't do anything. It's over 855,000 black registered voters in Mississippi.
855,000 registered voters. 855,000
black registered voters in Mississippi, and I bet you didn't even 200,000 show up for the governor. If all of those black voters would have came out, we would have had a black governor.
Gotcha.
The only reason we wouldn't is because we had so many blacks running. But they were running for different reasons. Everybody was running for a different reason. But if we could have got together and said, hey, let's run this person, get all of these black registered voters out to vote, and we would have us a black governor. That really angered me. I say, well, if they're not gonna vote, and these people gave their lives and got beat all up in 1960s in order to give you an opportunity to vote.
Well, do you think Mississippi will ever elect a black governor?
I doubt it. I doubt it because, like I said, the black people won't come out and vote, and the white people, they'll change the law before they'll let a black governor be in. And from what I see now, the blacks just won't get out and support.
If it's 855,000 registered voters and only 200-some-odd-thousand got out, what needs to be done to get us out?
They've got to become rational thinking people. That's why the whites vote, because they're rational people. They say, hey, if we don't vote, these blacks gonna take over. They'll take over. So they use their rationale and they get out and vote. If they, any way they can, they gonna make it to the poll to vote. The black people, oh, my arthritis is killing me. oh, I got something to do, my kid now needs some therapy, or you need to go to the medical doctor and stuff like this. And they use all of these excuses not to go vote. And then they don't vote. And some of them just say, hey, no use of voting. We ain't going to get anything out of Mississippi.
Bob knows it's never too early for a final expense policy to protect his son. Sue made sure that all their final expense policies are in place. Helen's final expense policy guarantees she won't be a burden to her daughter. Jane's mother's final expense policy covered her final arrangements and so much more. Your final expense policy can cover funeral services, medical bills, debt, and provide cash security. And there are no medical exams required. Call the KPG agency at 601-500-2751 to set up your policy today. A lot of times people will say, you can't complain, if you're not exercising your right to vote, you can't complain about what's going on. Two-part question here. Can we trust the voting process? We have issues with voter ID, faulty machines, just different situations where the votes are not counting. So can we trust the process, number one? And number two, do you see a lack of quality candidates as the problem as to why we're not voting?
The number one question is, you're not going to ever have any fairness when the white people are controlling everything. The white supremacists and the Ku Klux Klan are still running Mississippi, whether you know it or not. And as long as you have those type of people dealing with the boxes, the ballot boxes, and taking them here and there and bringing them, you're not going to ever have any fairness in it. So yeah, you can forget that. Mm-hmm. So the second part of your question is that, no, you don't have qualified people in Mississippi because Mississippi is not a qualified state. It's the bottom state of all of the states of the union. In everything, they're at the bottom.
Right.
So no, you don't have it because the colleges, people can graduate college here in Mississippi and go to another state, and they have trouble trying to get a job because the people, it's just a stigma attached to Mississippi,
right,
being a dumb state. You got people up at the state capitol up there in Congress, they can't hardly read. White people can't hardly read. And they're congressmen, see? So they are not going to ever make a right decision, a rational decision that concerns the black people because they don't care about the black people.
So you talked about blacks not being rational thinkers. What is that attributed to?
It's attributed to that they were not given any rationale. When they first came out of slavery, they didn't know anything. They didn't know ABCs, they didn't know how to count. So they didn't have anything in their genes to get them prepared to live in a country like the United States. So what did they do when they let them free? First of all, they didn't want to give them what they said they were going to give them, which was a mule and the 40 acres. They went back on that. Now you got a whole race of people here in America don't have a job, don't have money, trying to feed themselves, and they don't know how. So what do? They go back to sharecropping. Now we know how to do farming. Mm-hmm. So the white man said, okay, come on back. He lets them do the work, he gets all of the money. They can't ever get out from under. He keeps the books. They can't read, they can't write, they can't count. So they victimize them that way. Mm-hmm. Now, little further in the future, they say, well, let's let them go to school. Okay, you go to school, you learn the 3 R's, right? Read, write, and arithmetic, what they used to call it, which was good because you could make it on that for as if you had the ability to read, mm-hmm. you could see what was going on. You could count, you could see, hey, you added that wrong, mister. Mm-hmm. You know, you owe me more than that. You could see that. And writing, you needed to write because you had to express yourself. You had to sign your name and stuff like that. So that worked for a long time. Mm-hmm. Now, where the education played a part is there. But even with an education, if you don't have rationale, you can't use the education. That's why you see so many blacks coming out of college, got a college degree, and can't get a job. Because you need the rationale to understand what you need to do in order to get a job. See, a lot of them think, oh, I got this degree, they gonna be welcome with open arms. Right. They're not gonna do that. Right. See, they want people that's gonna fit in with their company, that's gonna be able to do the job. And most of the people coming out of college, they don't know nothing but what they learned in those books and
Exactly,
stuff.
which is not very much.
Which is not much. And then when they go to get a job and they get rejected, then they get into their feelings that I got a degree though.
Yes.
They don't understand that when you
Yes.
go to a person's job, you got to know something about that company. See, rationale, you got to be able to go there and blow smoke up his ass in order for him to get you in there.
Exactly.
And you got to win him over. You just can't say, I got this degree. You got to go in and say, hey, I got expertise in this. Like what I tell, when I'd always go get a job, and I would get the job, and I would have the job before they even started the interview, because I would go there early and look around and find out who was doing the hiring. And when I would see who was doing it, I would...
You do your research and
do
just
research,
know what's
and
going
then I
on
would strike up a
about the company.
conversation with them, and then we would start talking. I said, well, yeah. I said, really, you need to hire me? I said, you don't need to go through all that. And he would say, why? I said, well, I'm never late on the job. I say, I'm always on time. And I say, I never miss a day. I say, I take care of my personal business on my off days.
Yes.
So that's all they want. They want somebody that's going to be on time, that's going to be there every day, and don't leave the job early. And that's what I do. That always gets me the job.
Do you think the celebrity around the rally is why a lot of people came out? And if so, what does that say about the state of Black people?
Yeah, most of them just came out to see the celebrities, and they don't care about what's going on in the prison system, unless they got someone in there that they love.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's a different story. And the celebrities, they are phony. Jay-Z, Goldie. If they would have been sincere, they would have came down here, and they would have spoke to the people and told them what they had in mind of doing. I wrote them a letter. I wrote Rock Nation a letter. Yeah, and told them that, hey, you're up against a system down here. You don't have no idea about it. Never heard back from them, never got we got your email, we got your...
And that was
so, yeah, so I knew that they wasn't really serious, because they ain't reading anybody's email. They just got their name out there, and they thought they might get a little publicity and sell more records and stuff like this. But they don't have a clue as to how to come down here and help these people in Mississippi, because they don't identify with them.
Right.
These rich Black men up there living a highly rich lifestyle, a gated community, they don't have anything with these people down here. They don't care about these people being in prison, but it gets them a little publicity and make them sell maybe more albums, stuff like this. But if they would have been sincere, you come down here and feel and talk to your brothers and sisters about what they're going through, and give some feedback on how you may be able to help them and how they may be able to help themselves by sharing some examples where you might have been treated when you was getting started.
Right. Mm-hmm.
See, he can identify
with struggle.
With struggle, but he wouldn't come down here. He didn't have time to do it. So he sent some subjects down here of his, and they got up there talk. But the thing that I noticed is that they wasn't using any reason, any rationale in talking about how to help these inmates.
Hi, I'm Tonya Gray with your Insurance Minute. When you buy a life insurance policy, you're making an agreement with an insurance company to pay a monthly premium in exchange for a payment or death benefits to your beneficiaries at the time of your death. You could purchase a life insurance policy that lasts for just a few years or for your entire life, with death benefits ranging anywhere from several $1,000s to several $1 million. If you were to die unexpectedly, would anyone in your life be financially impacted? If the answer is yes, you might want to consider a life insurance policy. Life insurance helps protect the people in your life who need you the most. Legally, your beneficiaries can use a death benefit payout any way they wish. A life insurance death benefit is meant to replace the income of the policyholder, so beneficiaries can use the payout on whatever expenses they have after the death of the policyholder. Contact the KPG agency for a free quote to start a policy today. What are your thoughts on just the rally itself?
I was pushed away from it. Once I got there and I was back there waiting for my spot to go on, and I heard what was going on, I said to myself, this is not anything that's going to help the inmates. And it was just a popular delusion and madness of the crowd. That's what it was. They was up there chanting, close the prison, shut it down, shut it down. That's not going to do anything but get people geeked up. You got them on a one-track thinking thing then. That's not going to do anything.
Well, is that even something that's feasible? Can you even shut the prisons down? And then to shut it down would mean that you would have to house the prisoners somewhere else. So is that even going to happen?
No.
Exactly.
I said, now, they saying shut it down, but where you think they're going to do with the prisoners? They got to go let them out.
Exactly.
Because you shut it down.
They got to go somewhere else.
They got to go somewhere else. And I said, your loved one could end up out in Idaho or Montana at a maximum security prison where he never gets to see any sunshine, anything, and you're going to cost you a fortune to try to go see him. And they weren't thinking about that.
Can you be a proponent of change while still perpetuating all this negative things that is perpetuated in rap music? Can you be a proponent of change and still sell that type of music?
Now, you can be a proponent, but the real rational, intelligent people are not going to buy into it. The people that's buying your music, the ones that's ignorant, unaware, they will get on your bandwagon. But the rational people, and it's just a few in the black race, they're going to see you as a dissembler. Mm-hmm. And a dissembler is a person that says one thing and does another. See, and we got so many of those in the black race too. And it confuses the black people that's just common black people wanting to know what the truth is. And all that they're doing is just confusing them. Now, they don't know whether Jay-Z and God is with them or not. They didn't come down. So where are they now? So the lawsuit that he's filing, it'll get some attention. And the attorney that's filing the suit, we've already been in contact. They want to use my process to prove that they didn't care about these inmates. They didn't care. They wanted them in the prison. They don't want them out of the prison. You can't make money on them when they're out of the prison.
Exactly.
So they want the recidivism to continue.
Exactly.
So I'm waiting on this white attorney to get in touch with me because he's suspect too. He could have already been bought. See, you can't, and like me, I don't trust anybody. The only people I trust is the people I can watch, and if I see them do some good, then I'll touch with them. I'll say, I saw you do that. I say, what was your motive for doing that? And if they say, hey, I just felt like I had to help the individual, I thought my contribution there might help things along. I say, well, that's good. That's good. I say, I'll stay in touch with you. See, and these are the kind of people that you want working with you.
The lawsuit that Jay-Z filed or is suing on, he's suing the state on behalf of 29 inmates. And the lawsuit seeks damages for the prisoners and an order forcing the department to address the issues, mainly by increasing staff and cleaning up sewage. Will they get some type of action? I mean, will that lawsuit change some things? How is it going to help to bring about change?
It's not going anywhere unless they put this process in there to deal with the inmate himself, to change him into being a rational, moving human being when he comes out of there so that he won't go back to prison. See, that's what I did. I put 100 individuals that we did a survey. I put more than that through the process because I worked there for 11 years. But when GO ordered me to do a survey on the prisoners that had went through my process, I found out that out of the 100 that we called and telephoned, 91 of them was out there living their life, hadn't come back to prison after 3 years, and was being successful in living. And the other 9 a couple of them had died, and the rest had left town. They had went on to better pastures because they knew how to do it now, see.
How did you get into the prison system or in that field to even be able to develop this process? Just talk about how you even got started in that.
This process comes from Michigan. My mentor created this process. And he said, Robert, look like every time you get in trouble, you've been drinking. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. I say, well, yeah, I guess you're right there. He said, it's a place downtown Flint. If you go down there and do what they tell you to do, I'll let you come back to work in 2 weeks. So that's what I did. So I went down there, and the first session, they was talking about the symptoms and phases of the disease of alcoholism. Had never heard about no disease of alcoholism. My mother had it all those years. And we used to wonder, now, why would she drink like that and get drunk? And then be up the next morning, right back on it, right back on point. Mm-hmm. What kind of, didn't know that all alcoholics went through these same symptoms. So I say, well, that just kind of turned me around. So I went through that whole year's process. My mentor, Ron Cornwell, who created this process, took me through it. And about 3/4 through it, he said, well, he called me in his office. He said, Robin, why don't you become a counselor? He said, there are no counselors in the black race. He said, I'll teach you. So I said, let me think about it. So I went home and told my wife and that I was going to be an alcohol and drug counselor. So she laughed at me. Like she always do when I get those schemes, I was going to be a writer, you know. So I did. I went on and got into counselor school and finished it. And about a third way through training, my mentor, Ron, come down with acute leukemia.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't have any cure for it. And he told me, he said, now, if I don't go through this training with you, I want you to continue through it. And when you get through it, I want you to stay here and help Cynthia and become a trainer of trainers. Well, I was angry with God. I was saying, man, why are you gonna take a man like this, you know, that's fixing people like his? Why are you gonna do that? And but I found out later, you know, when I got into another thing, that God's providence rules.
Amen.
See, but so he had trained me, so now I can take over. I can do what.
And that's how you got into.
And that's how I got in the process. So I had this process which makes people rational, moving human beings, being successful in whatever you want to do in whatever you do.
Hi, I'm Tonya Gray with your Insurance Minute. People buy life insurance for a number of reasons. One of the primary reasons is providing income protection for a family in the event a breadwinner passes away. Another reason is providing financial security for children should something happen to the parents. Life insurance can even be a way to offset estate taxes in large estate plans. Another reason some people buy life insurance is to save for retirement. The cash value in some permanent life insurance policies can grow tax deferred, and the cash value can be borrowed at a later date. When using life insurance as a cash savings vehicle, it is important to understand the internal fees and guarantees that are built into the policy. Life insurance should be used as a tool for financial protection in case of death. The KPG agency's focus is to provide financial protection in the most cost-effective way possible. Contact us today to start your policy. On your Super Talk interview, it said that the program was kind of designed for inmates who had maybe 12 or 15 months left on their prison sentence, because it would take a year to go through the program. And as you said earlier, you surveyed 100 people that left prison, and 91 of them did not return. What is it in that program that allowed them to, you know, to the light bulb to turn off to say, you know, I'm not coming back here?
I'm glad you pointed it to the head, because when you dealing with these alcoholic people and these all these addicted people, you have to really change the way their brain is formed. If their brain is like this on their drugs, alcohol, and criminal life, when they go through that process, their brain is not like this.
So the process allows them to get their thoughts in order, and so it's your thoughts, it's the thoughts that are controlling you that keeps you.
You can stay in there 3 years. All you doing, if you're a drug seller, all you're doing is preoccupied with how to deal drugs better when you get out. See?
Gotcha.
But the process, it gets you into your feelings, it gets you thinking, and it takes you through different processes in there. the trust and risk process. Who to trust and risk with? Projection. Everybody don't think like you think.
Exactly.
Wherever you go, you first got to find out what the projections are, how the rules run. See, so they learn these things, and they learn about light, time, and light, and where you are. When you go in a place, look around, see what your surroundings are, see what's going on there. Mm-hmm. So when I take them through about 56 or 60 different 3-hour processes, which in the prison I had to cut it down to maybe an hour or so, which is good. You can adjust it, but they still get the gist of it and what needs to be gotten. And then I have the meaty part, which is the behavioral clarification process. That's where we have a circle. You go to the circle. You use feeling words. I feel sad when I see you, Joe, not committing like you should. You hold. Then Joe come to the center. You go to his chair. Then he addresses you and say, well, I feel sad because I can't get into it myself.
Mm-hmm. Communicate
and see, once you get that anger out, then see, you don't have to use any destructive behavior patterns. Now you did. So these guys, they go back outside with this process. Whatever they come into it, the parole officer, they know how to handle him.
That's amazing, Mr. Ray.
And they come out of there with a big long list of do's and don'ts.
Right.
You can't even have a beer can in your yard. If somebody throw a beer can in your yard, and the parole officer get there before you can get that out of there, he can violate you.
Right.
Look at that. You can't
win.
You can't win.
Right.
These individuals, they win. See, when they go through this process.
You outline this process, things are going well, and then they fire you?
Hey, listen. When they found out that 91 of those
they was like, ain't no way.
Process,
what is this Negro man doing?
Yeah, exactly. They say, where's all these niggas at? That 91 people out there saved Mississippi $50-something million. And it cut their money down. They missed out on $25 million. So they don't want that. That's their bottom line. Now just think, if I get 500 out of there,
right.
See, they're gonna be losing.
Right.
See, that system is not gonna work anymore for them. So what they did, they said, well, Mr. Ray and Miss Shannon was my co-counselor. We're gonna change process. We're gonna get another process, and we're gonna discontinue your process. Wow. Yeah, they did.
Will it be implemented? Is anyone looking at the process to say, come on, Mr. Ray, yeah, we want to use this? Is anybody reaching out to you?
No, they're not gonna reach out because they don't want the black men to become rational. They want the recidivism. They get $350 million
a year. Yes, sir.
From the federal government.
Yes.
See,
yes.
To keep them in prison. The more they have in prison, the more money they get from the federal government.
That $360 million, who gets that? Who's getting that?
The legislators get it. The vendors get it. The people that run the phone system.
Commissary.
The commissary and all of these people get it. See, that's how Christopher Epps got victimized in there. And I took the process over there and showed it to him. And he said, well, we got to get that in there. And I didn't have no idea he was getting bribes.
Right. At that point you did.
I didn't have, but I knew something was wrong when we couldn't get to him after we left it. He said, well, I'm going to talk to Governor Bryant. We're going to get it in there. We're going to talk to Jim Hood. And Jim Hood, he doesn't put more black people in prison than any attorney general that's ever been. So he didn't want them out of there.
Right.
So we went back down there to the prison and we waiting to hear from Christopher Epps and them and see when we're going to heard nothing. Called him. He was always busy. Couldn't get nothing done. Next thing I hear, they arrested him for bribery. I said, oh, that's what it was.
Right.
See, so no, they don't want these black prisoners to become rational men because they make too much money off of them.
Absolutely.
See, I done wrote letters to all of these black congressmen there here in Mississippi.
Question.
Never hear back from them.
Do you think black legislators are not doing enough where black issues are concerned? Or do you think that they're going through the same thing that every other Black is going through, that they're facing racism within the legislature themselves? What do you think?
Both. When they get to the point, when they see that they can't do anything, because really they're not together themselves. Going back to what I'm saying.
Oh my goodness, why are we like that? We're just not cohesive, we're not unified. Why are we so disconnected?
Because of no rationale. I don't care what position you get, how high you get, if you don't have rationale, you can't get along with other people.
I didn't mean to cut you off. So you were saying that they face racism within the legislature themselves, and so once they get to a certain point of trying to, I guess, get a bill passed or get something through Congress, they face opposition?
You get so many pies in your face until you get tired of wiping it out.
And so you just don't do nothing.
So you just don't do anything. You just sit there. You see those little big chairs they got there in Laser? They lay back in those big chairs and make their check. And they go home and take care of their family. And that's it. And they don't care about other people. So there you have it. And the whites, they definitely don't care about you. See, and they are up there for their checks too, and to move on up into a higher degree so they'll get a bigger check. So that's what we got in Mississippi. You got the racism in there. They hate each other in there. So how you gonna get anything done when you hate each other?
How do you change that narrative?
With this process. Once these Black individuals, they're coming out of prison, and see, we can put this in the school too. See, I got a teenage.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I got it all the way from preteen all the way up through high school, this process. So when they come out of high school, they're already rational.
Well, see, because you were saying that the only way to fix the prison system is to change the inmate.
You got to.
But we also have to be proactive and have preventive measures so that you don't go in there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You have to do things before. We don't want to just focus on them being functioning once they get out of there. We don't want you to go in there.
Exactly.
So
that's why I got the prevention process. Everywhere I take it to these facilities out there, the facility where I work at, they got a substance abuse program out there, and they want to start working with the teenagers. Mm-hmm. I took it out there. This is Black Doctor so-and-so. I ain't going to say his name.
Okay.
I sent him the process. He said, come on out, let's talk about it. So I took it out there. He said, oh, we need this. We need it, and you got stuff for the teenagers too. I said, yeah. I said, everything for the teenagers. I'm going to go back and talk to the CEO, and we're going to get this in there, and call me tomorrow. Mm-hmm. He hadn't answered my phone call. That's been about 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. Won't ever answer my phone call. So he can't get it. Same thing with the schools. I went to the principal. I say, you need to sit up somewhere where I can get this to the teenagers.
Right.
And that will stop out of their dropout rate.
Right.
They wouldn't drop out.
Right.
And never get any support system. They go along with the same old thing that they've been doing, singing the same old song, and they won't do it. But I tell you what, once I get it in there, you'll never get it out. Mm-hmm. Because the teens will love it so until they'll strike rather than not get it. Because it shows them how to be successful now. It shows them how to deal with their feelings and their thoughts in the now. Exactly. It shows them how not to become pregnant and get out of school. It shows these little Black boys that they got an obligation not to get these girls pregnant, mm-hmm. and create these little bastards all over the state of Mississippi.
Exactly.
See, and then they come up in gang banging and all of this different stuff. So we can eliminate that.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Please click the subscribe button. We'll see you next time on Tonya G's Chat Room.